Right, welcome to another episode. As you can see, I have the Kizuna Works new G-Capa, as they call it. I've been calling it a Glapper. I much prefer the name Glapper, but G-Capa is what everyone else is calling it. So this is the Kizuna Works 4.3 Hi-Capa, but designed to take Glock mags. So, if we open the box, there's a very brief manual, parts breakdown. This is going to be quite useful, I suspect, because things like the nozzle are proprietary. You're going to need that to be able to order spare parts. Little thank you card. Oh, okay, they're doing a little bit of recruitment, so we'll see about that. And a basilisk sticker. There you go. So this would come with a mag inside there, but I've already taken the mag out. So here you go. Let's move that out of the way. So that's the mag. I'm not going to dry fire it just because it's quite late at night. Wake up the family. But yeah. So first impressions, it looks kind of like a Hi-Capa. It's got the it sort of feels sort of weird because you've got the sort of wide grip angle. This is the new DOR. The grip slightly steeper, more acute, I guess, on here. I think it'll be chambered for Glock, so it'll be 22 degree, whereas I think Hi-Capas are sort of 11 or 12 degrees, so it does make a difference. As you see, gets stuck in a proper Hi-Capa. Looking over it, lots of it is already not looking to be Hi-Capa spec. It's a nice trigger pull. It's got an ambi slide stop, which is quite nice, but the slide stop itself won't be Hi-Capa spec as a result, I think. High sights, which sort of annoys me because there's no sight on it at the moment. However, there was a spreadsheet that came out, a PDF that came out the other day that said that they were going to do a optic mount for the 4.3. It's like a plasticky, yeah, it's a polymer thread protector. Fine, I guess. Probably use it with a tracer most of the time, or you can cross thread that quite easily. Yeah, okay, that's something to be wary of. No, okay. Gonna have to. That is weird. That is strangely difficult, strangely easy to cross thread. There you go. That's a lesson learned. It looks like it has a black barrel, so I'll have to have a look at that in a minute. I've got one of my own Garda mags. So as you see, it doesn't chamber all the way forward properly. It seems to do on a cycle. Okay, so it's just on a reload. Oh, actually. Okay, so actually, that's a Garda mag with a 9-ball gas router, and that seems to be coming into battery absolutely fine. So, looks like TM mags, it will be alright. It's getting a little stuck there though. What's happening there? Might have to look at that. It might be a lubing issue. I'm not sure if you can see here, but there's a huge amount of grease that's just been leaking out of this in transit. So yeah, but let's open it up and have a look. What's that? Yeah, that'll be that. So it looks like there's a grub screw that holds that in place. Let's get that out properly. There you go. Undoing that was completely pointless. Okay. So I'm not sure why they didn't just make this as one piece then. There you go. Alright. So here we go. That looks like it might be a very standard sort of TM style hammer housing. Doesn't look too unusual there. I wonder how you get that out. Does that even come out? Oh, there you go. So it's captive. There you go. So this pops out like that. It's keyed. Looks like the rails are screwed in. Eyeballing it, looks like a very standard trigger bar. There's a lot of play in some of this stuff. Like you can tell, it's. I mean, maybe I'm being snobby, but it's not quite sort of TM. Why? Okay, it's a stupid comment, isn't it? It's not quite TM quality. This is 80 quid versus these are going to retail about 160, 170 pounds in the UK. So of course it's not going to have the same sort of quality as these. So yeah, that was a silly comment. Right, let's take the top half apart. Recoil rod, that all looks very standard for a Hi-Capa. They've already pre-short stroked it, which is quite nice, so it doesn't go much further than you need. There you go. Oh, that's not good. We'll have to figure that one out. So that's a very soft screw that's been done so tight the screw's deformed slightly when undoing it. It gets Loctited, that's why. Oh, that's stuck. So I've had to use a Torx head to get that out. I suspect it's not necessary to screw that in. It's kind of a nice idea though, so that the barrel doesn't wobble. Don't have to shim it then. That looks very similar. That's the TTI version. That is very similar in design to the TTI. What they have done, which is quite nice, is there's a hole drilled through here and you can put your when your hop unit's in, you'll be able to adjust the hop through here. So that's a nice idea. You could probably do that with these as well. You just have to drill it in the right place, which is a bit of risk. It's like a weird aluminium barrel, which I'm not a fan of. If I've got a spare one, I might replace it with a 4-point. That's a, yeah, I might replace that. I don't think I've got any spare barrels lying around. No, I don't. Pardon me. Right, so that's an idea. Replace the barrel and hop rubber. Yeah, I'm not sure I'll be replacing the hop unit itself though, because that looks pretty decent. So yeah. That's a good stuff, I suppose. So this is more of a standard TM. There you go, that fits in quite nicely. So you could, if you were going to be changing around hop units, put that in instead. I wonder. I'm just going to get another pistol. So I've got my 4.3 staccato. What I'm going to do is see whether the hop unit fits in a standard 4.3 barrel. There you go. So that's that. I mean, that, there looks to be no reason why that wouldn't work with a standard barrel. Look at that, it fits perfectly. You obviously don't get the screw to hold it in place, but it's certainly worth knowing. There's very little movement on that as well. So I suspect you could use that on any TM spec outer barrel. I suppose I'll wait to be proven wrong. At some point I'll be replacing the whole slide with a Dr. Black Type Y 4.3 optic, purely because I don't really like the slide. Okay, so if we have a look at the slide now, keep that because that's probably useful. Hang on. Oh, everything's Loctited, so I'm a little bit worried of snapping things, but right, if we pop that out, that looks like a fairly standard Hi-Capa blowback unit. Do I have a spare? I do have a spare. Right, I've got a few extra bits to satisfy curiosity. So this is a Gunsmith Bros blowback unit. I just want to see what happens if you go. I mean, that on the face of it, oh no, actually the so if you compare here, the cylinder is a lot shorter, probably because of where the valve sits. So okay, so that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to fit although it does look to be just the notches are in ever so slightly different places. Okay, so the blowback units are different and as a result probably not compatible. Whilst I'm here, I'm gonna put in some stronger nozzle springs. Did I pack them separately? No, I didn't. Okay. There you go. So these are AIP 130% nozzle springs. So let's force a habit putting them in. Let's stretch out a little bit. There you go. So yeah, so the blowback unit is not compatible. There's some minor differences, but there'll be enough that it won't work. Let's put this back together. Click in place. I suspect though that will probably work fine in a TM spec slide. I just don't have the TM spec slide available to test with, so yeah. Let's put this all back together. It's a fairly heavyweight metal slide, I don't think. No, it's not. I don't think it's steel. It might be stainless. Heavier than you would expect for aluminium. I'm not going to do this up too tight because I do have intentions of stripping this all down and replacing it. So yeah. There you go. All right. So far, I'm actually reasonably impressed. It's a bit funky, a bit of funky design in places. I can probably look in here actually, can't I? Should I have a look at? I believe this will strip apart. Maybe like the... Give it a wiggle, that's nice. That can come out. Oh, that's captive. Okay, that's nice. That's quite a nice surprise. Let's push out the bottom. Pins out. Very standard looking. Fake safety there. There's just a bit of a plastic cover. That is definitely a Hi-Capa leaf spring. Let's see where we go with this. Oh, interesting. That one's come out nicely. That one's come out nicely. Now, does this all? That does look like a Hi-Capa style sear. Am I missing a screw somewhere?
I'm missing a screw somewhere.
Oh, there you go. And I've just lost 2 springs, so lesson learnt. That does look like that. So that is a almost. So that's a Hi-Capa trigger bow that is bent slightly to give you the angle to engage the sear correctly. So that's interesting. I can put this back on. Might have to cut to a commercial break to find those springs and pins that launched. Might also be very interesting trying to get this all back together. Disconnector. I've got some spare. Oh, interesting. So these are sort of advanced. These are based off of advanced parts. So that is an advanced hammer, valve knocker. I'm going to replace with my AM steel one. I don't have the right hammer to replace that. I don't have the right sear to replace that. No, they're not steel. Okay, that's interesting. Right, now to put this back together. There you go. Of course the hammer's got to go back in. that does look, eyeballing it, like a very standard hammer. So you might be able to replace the hammer if you wanted. Loctite. Everything has been Loctited with blue Loctite, so I kind of respect their dedication, but also it is mighty annoying. I didn't put that in properly. There you go. It does actually look like things have been machined to quite tight tolerances, because just there, the sear didn't line up properly. And it's because the screw holes, so the hole that it sits on is so tight, so potentially quite good. Right. Okay, I'm gonna pair those together for now. All right. Time to figure out where those springs went. All right, so found the spring here. Gonna keep it safe. I found a QB, an AM QB hammer I'm going to test. I've also just checked, and this is all Marie spec. You've got that is a Airsoft Masterpiece plunger, and this is a stainless steel pin made by eBog in the UK. So shininess that no one will ever see, but worth it. If we open this up quickly, there we go. I take that out. Put this in quickly. So that looks like that'll all engage. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could drop in an AM hammer. So the strut here is steel, but the hammer's not. Put this in the right way. Okay. All right. Now I have to put it back together. There we go. That can go back. There we go. Right. So this spring is always the tricky bit, and I've never found a nice way of doing it. So I tend to just use my fingernail, or what's left of it, to squash it in. There you go. And then you hold it tight. Now, oh, the other bit I need to do is put this pin in. I'm not going to put in the spring just yet, and I'll show you why later. I really like the fact that that pin is captive. Right, so that all goes in, that pops out. Now what you can do is pop the spring in that little hole there. And fix it in. I suspect if we had a flat head somewhere there. There you go. And in hindsight, you'd extract it out there first. Right. Let's put some of the screws back in. You don't want to over tighten the screws into the polymer frame because it is polymer. It will strip out before the metal does. I would also recommend not over tightening the screws into the chassis because the chassis is pot metal, so I suspect you would strip those out very, very easily as well. Right, pins. Oh yeah. Disconnector first. That can go in there. Pieces. No, there's no reason why that shouldn't be going in there. Let's get the strut out of the way. Oh, the strut's blocked. Okay, so that's not very helpful. They've put a beam here which inhibits the strut. There you go. And now the pins, so you've got the disconnector pin. There you go, and then you have the hammer pin. There you go. So if I were them, I would have made this an advanced hammer pack, and then you could just drop that out nicely, but there's probably good reason why they didn't do it that way. Right, now for the leaf spring. There you go. Make sure that the prongs are in the right place. That's not got any. That has. So let's put the safety in the right place. There you go. And now the hammer pack. There we go. That looks fine. Okay. That. goes in there. That goes over here, and now tighten up. I wouldn't recommend going like full gorilla on any of these screws because they are pot metal. All you're going to do is strip them out and make your life more difficult. So that's probably why they've Loctited everything, is so that they don't have to worry about that. Right. Let's do that ambi side, the right side ambi selector. Now that ambi selector, the ambi slide stop. There you go. All right, all put back together with a couple of little upgrades. I'll probably chuck some more in at a later date. I'm definitely going to be replacing the slide with something nicer, probably Dr. Black, at which point maybe a new hammer will go in. We'll have to see. So in summary, it looks pretty good. It's not too difficult to get apart. Polymer lower, pot metal upper, pot metal frame, proprietary slide stop, safeties, grip, obviously. The trigger bar is proprietary, the mag release is proprietary, the blowback unit and nozzle are proprietary. However, it looks like they'll fit in a Hi-Capa slide. The hop unit is Hi-Capa spec, so I don't see why you shouldn't be able to use that in a, like if you wanted to put a steel barrel or something in it. I don't see why that would be an issue. You might find it might not play nice with their slide. Probably should have checked that actually in the video, but too late. So yeah, so interesting piece. I'm going to be doing lots to this. Is probably, other than the frame, it's going to stop resembling this, and it's going to look very different by the time I get around to showing you the next video in it. So thanks for watching. I'll probably be doing a video in a couple of weeks once I've got my Dr. Black slide and a few other bits and pieces. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.